School's an absolute waste of time. We hear this all the time, but in this video, I'm going to try to prove to you why it's not. Because at the end of the day, there's so much that we can still take from school, but we have to also understand why our students are not feeling like they care about school in the first place. And so, for instance, there are many students who are waking up every single morning, early in the morning, doing tests, doing all of these stress tests and everything of that nature, and they're literally asking themselves the question, what's the point of all of this? Especially for students who sometimes see other kids on YouTube making millions playing a video game, doing so much that doesn't ultimately even help develop themselves in school, but they're still able to actually make a ton as well outside of school. Now, the question you have to ask yourself, though, is how many students are actually doing this on a regular basis? How many are actually able to make money on social media playing video games, or actually, let's say, or becoming YouTube stars? As much as there are that we see online, there is not a vast majority of youth that are also making this tons of money online either. And I'm not saying that it's not possible for you to do it. What I'm saying is the probability is still pretty low. But yet, there's something that they do that is very important for you to understand, and in fact, you can still learn this while you are in school. One of the biggest problems that I'm actually seeing right now is that, again, students are not necessarily understanding why they should care at a certain space. But I'm telling you right now, I've even heard teachers say that it doesn't matter as much. And some students have been told by teachers that they have to get it together by 9th grade, or they have to get it together by 10th grade. I've even talked to some principals that have said that they have had to reprimand some teachers for even saying these types of things as well. And so if we're teaching our kids that it doesn't matter until a certain stage, it's also now causing them into a position where they ultimately will not want to care until it matters. But I was telling a student, like, for instance, imagine if you start caring only in 9th grade or only in 10th grade. You're playing catch up between 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th grade in order for you to understand the material that you need at this point. And so even if it were to matter, what's happening is that your mind is not fully developed to what you need to know at this stage. And so you're always behind because you put yourself in a position where the material just didn't matter at first. But that's one thing. That's just on the aspect of, hey, we have to actually stay true to our learning and to our development. But there's something very important here, because the same students that say that school doesn't matter are learning from people online and from different sources that have learned a skill in order for them to develop and teach it in the very space that they're on. This is why I keep saying that life is about being a lifelong learner. It's not just about being a student between a specific period of time in your life. It's about always wanting a desire to learn, to grow, and to develop your mind. If we put ourselves in a position where we do not care about learning, we're ultimately debasing the way that we're able to see ourselves and also the information that's crucial for our development. And so many people, sometimes they say, again, they're like, oh, I just don't care about school. But you should always care about learning. Because, like, for instance, right now, many students are going online and they're saying to themselves, well, I can just get everything that I need on AI. AI and all these Google and all of these different programs, they're not teaching you. They're feeding you information. And information alone will never be enough in order for you to develop your mind, because all you do is regurgitate that information and give it back in a way that will, even if it earns you a grade, it didn't build that brain of yours. And so what we call smooth brain, you're not actually developing a skill. You're not learning something through the process. So now it becomes a lot harder for you to even be able to grow, because now all it is just information memorized to give back to receive a grade. That doesn't help your learning, and it's going to hold you back, Because what we need right now is comprehension. We need a lot more people who can go through information, can fine comb information, can read something and actually be able to understand the material that's being given to them. And this is why many many adults are actually reading at a 6th grade level. It's not because they can't read the actual information that's right in front of them. That's not the issue. The issue is they're lacking comprehension. They're lacking the ability to read information and be able to give you what it actually is trying to explain. And so we have people who now, because they can't read a book, that's why it's hard for them to read a person. That's why it's hard for them to look at articles. That's why it's hard for them to even listen to information on YouTube or certain things that are happening in the world. And it's hard for them to grasp why it matters or all the nuances behind it, because all they can see is just a very simplistic view of it rather than looking at the totality of what it all means. Reading, developing of your mind, all of this is going to help to work through that process. And this is what school does now. So even if you say to yourself, I don't really care about school doesn't really matter, well, at least you could take an opportunity to start developing the way that you think and critically working through how you can see problems and work through them. Because when you think about the world around you, the world is about being able to see problems and fix them. And if you can't fix a problem, you're always going to have problems. You're not going to be a solution maker that people need. When you think about the greatest entrepreneurs, when you think about the greatest technology, inventors, individuals, creatives around the world, they're creating a solution to a problem. And so if you, in your mind right now, can't even look through a problem, look at math, or look at a book and say, well, what is the problem that's being construed in this moment, and how can I develop that? How can I work through that? If you can't do this, it will pose a problem in your future. Because now it's not just about being able to say I can read, or I can do 2 + 2 or 5. It's not about that. It's about you being able to comprehend the depths behind the issue so that you could become a solution maker. Think about all the professions in the world. Think about anything that anyone does. It's all about creating a solution to a problem. And so if you start developing that right now in your life, if you start thinking with that kind of mindset, how can I create solutions to problems around us? You actually will develop a skill that people will want. And when people want a skill, they now get to a place where they need you and pay for you to get this. This is why so many adults, they're working certain types of, menial jobs. It's not because they are incapable, but they never learned a true skill that solves a major problem. And so now all you end up doing is working for people who know the problem and have created a solution to it, and now they get you to do that problem for them. And I know some of you are gonna say, well, no, actually that's the F student. That's the one that actually is thinking bigger than the person who goes to university, X, Y, and Z. Guys, the statistics are not in your favor. The stats are not in your favor. You need to be a person that thinks bigger. And it starts in your choices on how you are in school. It continues on in university or post-secondary. But you being a lifelong learner is the biggest thing that you can work to develop, because that's what's going to help you to see life a little bit bigger. Nobody accidentally becomes educated, and nobody accidentally becomes skilled at something. It takes time, it takes development, but it takes a desire. And a lot of times what school is teaching you is to work through that difficulty, to be a person who can see challenges and say, hey, you know what? I'm going to find a way through this. Because I'll be very straight with you. Like, there are times where you will not always love what you have to do. We see this all the time. But it's about how you choose to respond to the situation. And if you could be a person that looks to actually respond well to situations right now, imagine what that can turn to for your future. and how developing that in your character and in how you choose to respond to situations will actually benefit you on how you choose to see the world around you. Again, we need solution makers. We need problem solvers, individuals that can see an issue and say, you know what? How can I work through this? How can I develop this? And ultimately, we need people who actually care about society. Education is going to get you there in some way, shape, or form, no matter what. And mind you, again, it might not be the same form of education that you think, but being a learner, being a person who develops their mind and their brain in any capacity, that alone is a skill. And if you go work through that, you're going to make so much headway rather than the person who chooses to not develop themselves in any way, shape, or form. Truth of the matter is, you're not going to remember every little thing that you've had in the school. You're not going to remember every formula, every situation, every challenge. But you are going to remember, your body is going to remember the resilience that you developed. It's going to remember the willingness to be determined through a challenge. It's going to remember how to work through situations and the mind frame that you're developing through this process. That's what it's going to remember. It's not. It might not remember every math equation. It won't. It might not remember every character in the book, but you remember the philosophies behind it that help shape the way that you think. Like, all of this matters. And it's important for you to really think about how you're developing yourself in school, because the greatest tragedy that's going to happen in this world is not the tragedy of failing a class. It's a tragedy of choosing not to learn. Like, even just thinking about that, there are many people in this world who choose not to learn. They choose not to care. So think about how you want to be for the rest of your life, because a lot of those habits start developing now as a teen. I always say it like this, your habits, your choices turn into habits, your habits turn into lifestyle. And a lot of the lifestyles that we have today is due to how we chose to be when we were kids. So let's be real with ourselves on how we want to be. And if you want to be a person that is constantly developing the way that they want to be, think about how you want to work through this now and to become a lifelong learner that sees the power in education. Because the power in education is not passing a test. The power of education is in you being able to find the best version of yourself through this process. Go for it, man.